Hey everyone, okay, so today is a slightly different video, but one I wanted to share regardless because I thought it was interesting. Makeup is such a glorious thing and it can do so many wonderful things. It can make us feel better, it can make us look better. Sometimes when we look better, we feel better. And I love makeup, it makes me incredibly happy. But for a long time, the makeup that I had wasn't making me happy, it was making me feel incredibly overwhelmed. And this video is going to explain why. What happened was, and if you knew how I grew up, this would be more understandable. Now, I grew up like most people, but we never had more. We always had what we had, and that was a struggle. But we never had any more. There was never anything more. There was never anything spare. And as I got older, I knew I didn't want to be that way. And I had jobs, and I worked. At one point, I had 3 jobs. And over time, and as my career took off, and as I took off, I could acquire more and more things. And this was a wonderful thing. But there comes a point when you acquire too much stuff. And like I said, when you grow up like me, I so longed for more than what I had. And with my job, what I do is when I'm working on you, most of the time, what I'm using, I give to you, and then I replace. And then the cycle continues. And I like that. It's part of the fee. It's really good. But I was acquiring more and more stuff over the years. Lots and lots and lots of stuff. And I was just putting it aside. Because my makeup kit's very, very small. It's the same stuff I've been using for years. But it's very small. And I was acquiring more and more stuff. Here's a picture. Now this picture shows you 4 cases of makeup that I didn't use. Ever. And as it was piling up more and more, the joy of makeup was being lost to me because I felt so overwhelmed with it. It was, 90 brown eyeshadows when I use 4. The overconsumption. And with YouTube, right? I mean, I get the most beautiful parts. I can review things and it's really, really wonderful. And I can tell you things that I think are really good and things I don't think are great. But sometimes more is more, and that was the case here. Now what you saw was 4 boxes full of products that I didn't use. And then there were more boxes than that. There were another 8 boxes, and they were all full. And I wasn't using them, and I didn't want it, but I couldn't get rid of it. But I didn't want it, and it was hindering me because I needed to just offload. And you can't chuck all that shite away because it's so expensive. So I gave it away. And the relief, the feeling of being lifted away from all of that shite was amazing because there were people who I knew needed it. People who didn't have a lot. People who would have done anything to have a NARS blusher, a Urban Decay palette, a MAC foundation, whatever. And then there were charities that could really do and use with all of that stuff. And so it went. And it all went. And suddenly, my makeup kit is only what I see in front of me. And I love it. Because it's just what I want. It's just what I need. And all the other stuff I buy now and I review and I want to talk about, I just put it aside and give it away, whether it's to people or charity or people I know who need it. Because that's the thing. It's one thing to give it to somebody, but to give it to people who you know will need it, who really want it, who haven't got the means in order to have it, that is a wonderful thing. And a lot of people, particularly on YouTube, who get sent huge, and I'm not one of them, but the people that get sent so much stuff, and then we see my makeup collection and it's fucking huge and it's everywhere and we're like, oh my God, I want all of that, but you don't need it, I promise you don't need it. And it's great to just think all these people that had this stuff and they didn't have to pay for it, they just had it, and it freed me and made me love my makeup again when I was so depressed with it because it was too much and I was still holding on to a life that I don't necessarily live anymore, but one I did from the past. And there you go, that is my makeup hoarding, and it will never happen again because to know now that I can get something, I can review it and I can just let it go and I can go to someone good and someone decent. And that's the thing, sometimes I give a bag of makeup away and it's like a really big bag and I only give it to good people. People I know who are decent. I hate the idea of giving something to somebody who's ungrateful. Nothing worse than ungrateful. Giving it to people who are good, that's a good thing. Okay, that's my story, and I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.